On cue, Kodak has decided to be disruptive for the show. It's a good sign. That means there's going to be a really good show. Good morning, everyone. It is March 9th, 2026. Oh my God, the world is on fire. But that's okay. We've got each other. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Ignition News broadcasting on the Rebel Radio Network. On WARN, the Weirdos American Resistance Network. My lawyer would remind you, let's just get it right out of the way right away. Disclaimer, I'm actually good. I'm good, actually. I already got that taken care of. So is that one, you going to take that one? I'll take it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyways, had a little bit of behind the scenes there. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and continue. It is March 9th. Well, disclaimer, sorry. My lawyer would want me to remind you that we do not broadcast on any AM or FM channel and that the Ignition News and Rebel Radio do not endorse any kind of violence. That was the disclaimer. Good morning, everybody. It's March 9th, 2026. What has happened today? It's National Napping Day. So be sure to get a nap in. It's National Barbie Day. It's National Get Over It Day. National Panic Day. Okay. That's great. That's great. 1933, we had the first 100 days of FDR. He called a special session of Congress to begin enacting the New Deal legislation. In 1974, we had the final surrender of Hiro Unoda, who finally surrendered in the Philippines. This is kind of a fascinating story. So you had this Japanese soldier who was on this island in the Philippines who had been basically not giving up after the war. It's a fascinating story. We should talk about that one sometimes. But he formally surrendered 29 years after the war ended. He was holding out himself on an island in the Philippines, blasting away. Interesting. So it's Amerigo Vespucci's birthday today. It is Bobby Fischer's birthday today. Let's see. It is also Suga's birthday today. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, just some fun facts about today, March 9th, 2026. At a very high level, a couple things that I found kind of interesting today. Do you know what a Japanese oarfish is? It's this beautiful, long silver fish. It lives very deep in the ocean. It has this beautiful silver body. And it has been long seen, it's been long sort of a myth that when you see a Japanese oarfish, it's a bad omen, sort of like your dog playing with a squeaky toy during the background of your radio show. Kodak has been doing this lately. He's been doing this lately. He wants a guest segment on the show. So, it's fine. Anyways, so this oarfish washes on shore in Cabo San Lucas. It's often seen as a doomsday prep kind of a thing. And then the doomsday plane, which is the nuclear plane for the United States, is apparently flying around. So you got the doomsday fish, the doomsday plane, and here we are, stuck in the middle with you. Suck in the middle with you. Good morning. We've got a few stories to cover today. Very interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. We've got actually 5 stories today, if I don't get off onto a tangent. And when you lay them side by side, here's what it paints. It paints a picture. It's a picture of a country being dismantled in real time. Of course, we've got financial panic spreading across the globe. We've got a sitting president lying to your face about what's happening in Iran. We've got a brand new supreme leader in Tehran, and we've got an all-out war on your right to vote. Yes, Kodak understands how to use inconvenience as protest. That's 100%. That's 100% right. He was definitely tuned into the pre-show. We do run a little bit of a pre-show, so we got kind of distracted during the pre-show, but it's good to have you on the show. Let's go ahead and get started with story 1. I'm going to ask you quickly, if you don't mind, to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. And that's because, media is being really heavily censored right now. And the one sort of bastion of the freedom of free thought does remain the podcast sphere, fortunately, until Apple and Spotify sell out, which I'm sure they will eventually. But if we have to broadcast on a ham radio, then we will broadcast on a ham radio. Let me check, make sure I didn't do the same thing. Okay. Last time, a couple times ago, we recorded a brilliant show. It was an amazing show. And I clicked mute on my microphone. It was a disaster. But nonetheless, continuing on with our first story, let's talk about money. Let's talk about dollars and cents. Crude oil has absolutely skyrocketed. This morning was $104 a barrel. That's the biggest single day increase since 1988. And it pushes oil prices back into the triple digits for the first time since Russia actually invaded Ukraine. Global stock markets have absolutely tanked. Let's go ahead and get a real check-in on the Dow Jones. Let's go look and see what the Dow Jones is at. Pam Bondi, it is actually not $50,000, you stupid fuck. It's $47,156 right now. I got to be careful. 47,000. Imagine that. Think about that. Since Pam Bondi made that statement in the halls of Congress, the stock market has gone down almost 3,000 points. That's trillions and trillions of dollars evaporated in real time. That's incredible. I saw a statistic today that we should well expect to have oil above $150 a barrel. Quick check-in on the show. What's gas in your neck of the woods? Here in Las Vegas, I was out yesterday, $4.49 a gallon. Of course, I don't have to worry about that because we have an electric vehicle, fortunately. But yeah, I mean, there's also kind of a war on electric vehicles, but that's a subject for a different day. But it's not just the United States. Global stock markets are in chaos. I actually saw this subtweet from, I say subtweet, I need to stop saying that. I saw this post from someone in Australia, and they were talking about the Strait of Hormuz, and they were kind of freaking out because, you know, if you're on that part of the globe, the Strait of Hormuz is really the literal access point for oil. And they were talking about how the government of Australia had said that they had a 30-day supply of oil. So what do you do after that? 92,000 jobs were lost in February. It's costing us $1 billion per day. What does the White House to say about gas prices going up 50 cents in a week? Karen Levitt said it is a, quote, short-term disruption. Short-term disruption. These are people who don't fill up their own gas tanks. You know this, yes? You know that the president, you know Carolyn Levitt, her rich husband, you know that Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, these people don't fill up their own gas tanks. They don't even know how. Do you know what Pam Bondi would do if you're like, go fill up your own gas tank? She wouldn't even know what to do. Donald Trump, do you think he would know how to operate a gas pump? There's no way. Talk about needing a bunker. My God. I would actually be like, Mr. President, let me take care of this for you. Let me take care of this for you. Just there's no way these people operate their own. There's no way. There's no way. Let alone the fact that they understand what's the average gas tank? 20 gallons, maybe. Let's just say 20 gallons. Okay. 20 gallons, that's $10 a week. That's $520 a year. Think of all the things you could buy for $520. That's a set of tires for your car. Need new tires? I guess you're going to have to wait. Yes, everything is a computer, Robert. Very good. So yeah, it's costing real money in real time, but I guess according to the White House, it's just a short-term disruption. Welcome to the Ignition News, everybody. It's that time. I do need to take a brief interruption. If you're listening on Spotify, the first person that comments on this show today, March 9th, you also qualify. But for anyone new on the show on the live stream, who's new on the show today? We got any newbies? Anybody new on the show over here? I have a special surprise for you. Yeah, Muppet, Sarah, Holly, they're done. Cut off. We're cut off. We're going to give you and send you for free a special token of our appreciation. A long time. We've been doing this for a long time. But on Rebel Radio, we have our little icon. And it's been a long time since I've done this. This is the Sabo Cat. The Sabo Cat's an international symbol of resistance. Meow. Go look it up. We don't have time to talk about it today. But the Sabo cat was used by the International Workers of the World as a symbol of their resistance and factory strikes. We have a version of that, which is the Resist-A-Kitty right there. Meow. Right there. Okay. So for you three and for the one on Spotify, we're going to send you one of these totally for free. Okay. Totally for free. So how do you claim this amazing prize? Well, you're going to message Northwest Pole Project, who is one of our moderators. Raise your hand, Northwest Pole Project, and we'll send you one for free. But it comes with a condition, should you choose to accept. We will also send you one of these fellows right here, which is a resist sticker. And so you got to find one of these stickers right here. You got to put it somewhere that someone might need to see it. Someone may be having a tough day and they see this beautiful resist sticker and they say to themselves, I am not alone. So for those three of you, send Northwest Pole Project a DM. We'll get the details sorted out. There's no terms and conditions. Okay. This isn't a trick. Congratulations. We're happy to have you. Be sure to join us again on the future show. Let's get on to the next story. I know that was a positive note. That was kind of fun. We haven't done that in a while. We do have to talk about something more serious. So let's transition into a little bit more serious topic. And that is this bombing of the school in Iran. On the first day of the U.S. and Israeli bombing campaign, a strike hit, obviously, this girl store in Manab, Iran. We know that it killed over 160 people. The latest death toll I saw was 175 people. Most of those were young girls. Now we have conclusive proof that it was the United States of America. I know a lot of media agencies want to dance around this. I know they want to kind of go, oh, you know, it may or may not be. Evidence is so-and-so. The only two countries lobbing bombs into Iran were Israel and the United States of America. The only two countries that could have been responsible for this is either Israel or the United States. And even if you take away that, this military conflict did not have to happen. And so even if the United States and Israel do not have the balls to admit that they did this, this would not have happened but for their military operation. Of course, Marco Rubio tells us this, but now we see that a confirmed strike on the base from a Tomahawk missile. It's a very distinctive pattern. So we saw video, this was released yesterday. There's video of a Tomahawk hitting right next to the school. Well, there's only one country in the world that has Tomahawk missiles. Okay? There's only one country in the entire world that has a Tomahawk with its distinctive shape, its silhouette, that has a distinctive pattern when it explodes and hits the ground, and that's the United States of America. The United States of America double-tapped a girls' school with Tomahawk missiles. And the New York Times might have the balls to admit this, or CNN might not have the balls to admit this. But if it looks like a Tomahawk, it smells like a Tomahawk, it's got a shadow like a Tomahawk, guess what? It's a fucking Tomahawk missile. And the only country that makes them is the United States of America. That footage has been independently verified by several media outlets. So the simple question is, if it wasn't us, then who was it? Iran doesn't have Tomahawk missiles. So if it wasn't us, then it was Israel. What's the fundamental difference? What's the difference? Have you seen that video or the footage, the photograph of the aerial shot? And it's these digging devices, and it's all these grave sites being dug in the ground. It's for these girls. And the president of the United States stood in front of all these reporters, and what did he do? He blamed the victims. Now, this is a very clear pattern from our president, isn't it? Blaming the victims. So I would ask you, what does the evidence suggest? A president who blames E. Jean Carroll, a president who blames Stormy Daniels, a president who blames Nancy Pelosi, a president who blames AOC, a president who blames Capitol Police, a president who blames Mike Pence, a president who blames the victims of the Epstein files, and now a president who blames the victims of a Tomahawk missile. I think you have to look critically here. I think you have to critically analyze. Yeah, someone said John McCain. Exactly. Good point. When you have a history and pattern of someone who blames the victims, and then the history and pattern says the victims were right, I think what we can learn from that, footage or no footage, is that if the president says Iran did it, we know that we did it and that he did it specifically. He is the president of the United States. Why do we offer this man a free pass? He made this decision, him alone. Donald Trump alone made the decision to go into Iran. We know this because there is no one with courage, guts, or empathy remaining in the United States federal government at the executive level that would say no. So I think we got to stop sugarcoating things when we say that the U.S. bombed a girls' school, when we know who it actually was. Why are we sugarcoating it? Welcome to the Ignition News, everybody. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. I do want to take a quick break to thank our moderators who keep the space friendly and open for us on the live show. But you do have to find us on your favorite podcast platform. Do rate the show, leave us a little bit of a note. It's helpful, and it helps to keep the space. It helps keeping us going for sure. And I do appreciate you listening to the show. Let's get on to the next story. We're still in Iran. We have a new leader in Iran, Mojtaba Khamenei. It's the new supreme leader. He's 56 years old. He is the son of Ayatollah Khamenei, who was obviously killed in the opening strikes. The president has said this outcome is unacceptable. I think they thought they got him in the initial strike, but you've replaced the father with the son. 1,200 people have been killed in Iran, 400 in Lebanon, and 11 in Israel. 7 U.S. service members have also been killed. Thousands of American citizens are stranded in the Middle East, and we've replaced the father with the son. And this country is not going to give up. That's what people don't understand. Iran has been living under sanctions, repression, and religious control for 47 years. Do you think that any kind of weapons or economic damage we can do to them is going to faze them? They've had to live under this kind of world for 50 years. They've learned how to find alternative solutions for things like supply chain, things like food, things like water. They've been doing this for 50 years. You can't even get white ladies in America to give up Target for a week. These people have been going against some of the most powerful governments in the world for 50 years. You cannot bomb them into submission. You can't bomb them into submission. You remember that White House meeting? Zelensky, Vance? You don't have the cards. Do you remember that? I would ask you a simple question. What cards do we have right now? What cards does the United States of America have now? We're spending $15 million 3 times to shoot down a $20,000 drone, $45 million to shoot down a $20,000 drone. If we're successful, which, by the way, the current interceptor rate is something like 20%, $45 million. This is what happens with the 79-year-old man who has a vengeance complex and no strategy wages a war. These people are not going to give up. They're not going to unconditionally surrender. And what does unconditional surrender mean anyway? What does that actually mean? Well, it means they're coming for your vote. It means they're coming for your vote. On Sunday, the president posted on social media that he will not sign any bills into law until Congress passes the Safeguard America Voter Eligibility Act, also known as the SAVE Act. This bill is going to require voters to show a proof of citizenship to cast a ballot, and it's going to ban mail-in voting except for the military and those with disabilities. It's going to include other sweeping provisions on how Americans can vote. The claims are, of course, based on fake information about fraud in elections. In 2016, we know this because the Brennan Center found that 42 jurisdictions with high immigrant population, there were only 30 suspected cases of non-citizens voting out of 23.5 million people being voting. If the Senate passes the Save America Act, which would take effect immediately, the 2026 elections would become practically unadministratable. And the president knows this, and Stephen Miller knows this. 62% of voters disapprove of how this president is handling the elections. Let's put it all together. You have a president engaged in a legal war. Gas prices are going up. The economy is destroyed. We lost 92,000 jobs, 19,000 healthcare jobs. Everything is collapsing. Look at what happened during the Iraq War, one of the most unpopular wars in the history of America. This war is significantly less popular. Significantly less popular. As a result of the Iraq War, which, by the way, I just want to give you a little bit of a frame. We got to this point in the Iraq War 5 months into the war. The initial phases of the Iraq War were generally seen as very successful. We went in, you remember we toppled, I mean, I know a lot of people are too young to remember this. We toppled that big statue of Saddam Hussein. You remember when they pulled down that, they tied it to an M1 Abrams tank and they pulled the statue of Saddam Hussein down. Remember that? It was generally seen as a massively successful military operation. Then 5 months into it, they bombed the embassy. And then the insurgents happened. Remember, that's when we first started learning about that word insurgency. It's a word that Americans had never heard before or never talked about before. And then we were drawn into a military quagmire for 26 years. Well, we're there now. A week into the war, we're where we were with Iraq 5 months into the war. It's only going to get worse from here. And now the doomsday plane is flying. If you think there's any incentive for this president and this administration to not fuck with the elections, well, you're just kidding yourself. You're fooling yourself. And this one's a little homage, the last story of the day. Thank you, everybody, for following the show. I wanted to give you some good news. We had a specific request for good news on the show, so I want to give you some of that good news. What's funny is people are trying to join the show. The arrogance of some of these white men. They're both white men, by the way. It's very funny. I say that as a white man. Good news for you, and that's Anthropic. Okay, I want to give you the good news. Of course, you probably heard about Anthropic. It's the company behind Claude AI. It has been at war with the Pentagon. Here's kind of a brief summary of what happened. Anthropic drew two firm lines with the Department of Defense. First, they said their AI could not be used for autonomous weapon systems. And second, they said they would not allow their AI to be used for massive domestic surveillance of American people. Those are the lines they drew, and they would not move them. So the president and Pete Hegseth ordered every federal agency to immediately cease the use of Anthropic's technology. Incidentally, we know that has not actually happened. We know that federal agencies are still using Anthropic, including in the conflict in Iran. That's because it's better than Sam Altman's piece of shit ChatGPT, which is garbage. Pete Hegseth said America's warfighters will never be held hostage by the ideological whims of big tech. This guy is so fucking dumb. Well, this morning, Anthropic filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration in federal court, alleging retaliation in the use of its First Amendment protected speech. We have been waiting for these CEOs to step up. And guess what? We finally have one. Anthropic. Of course, Sam Altman, he enters the picture as well. After Anthropic was blacklisted, Sam Altman, he announced a deal to basically replace Anthropic. And Anthropic said, you can't use our technology to automatically kill people and surveillance people. And Sam fucking Altman says, oh, yes, you can. About 1.5 million ChatGPT users vacated the platform. 1.5 million users. Now, if you're Sam Altman, having a military contract is better than having some college student pay you $8 a month to have ChatGPT. There's no question about it. But the fact remains, there's a reason that the US government is freaking out about Claude, about Anthropic. There's a reason they're freaking out about it. And that's because clearly whatever they offer is better than Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever else exists. Grok isn't even relevant. We've been waiting for a CEO to step up. We've been waiting for someone to do this. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, who incidentally said he's not quite sure if his AI is conscience, which is a whole other story. But you have to recognize when someone does the thing, we've been waiting for, it has to be recognized. Dario Amodei from Anthropic did the thing we've been asking to do. So I'm going to give you a specific action item for today's show. You ready? For a long time on Rebel Radio, I've been very clear about how I think about AI. I think that one of the things that's happening is the left is demonizing AI because, there's a lot of reasons for it. But the fact of the matter is we have to use every tool available to us to fight fascism. We have to use every single tool. And you cannot pretend that AI is not here. It's a revolutionary piece of technology. And we can both recognize that AI is bad for the environment, it's bad for jobs, and understand that if we're not understanding the technology, that we're putting ourselves at a strategic disadvantage. We are, in fact, with a war for the soul of our country. And so if you use a technology, I want to give you two. Who is calling me during the show? Why does that happen? I'm going to give you two specific challenges here. If you have to use AI, cancel your ChatGPT subscription. I have to use ChatGPT for work. I canceled my subscription. Okay, so subtweet. I said I wasn't going to say subtweet. Okay. Now, that's not where we're done. Okay, so there is still a free version of ChatGPT, yes? So use the free version of ChatGPT. Why? Because you're fucking draining them. You're sucking money, time, power, resources from Sam Jellyfish Spine Altman. So continue to use the free version simply as an act of protest. Suck them dry. Use their resources. Bleed them of their capital. Bleed them of their financial resources. That is literally you doing your First Amendment. The second, if you have to use AI, and again, as I've said, I'm not one of these leftists that says ban AI because AI is good and helpful. There are things about it that if we properly regulate it can be very good for humanity. And again, it's coming whether you want it or not. AI is going to happen. Don't be one of those people that was looking at the horseless carriage and saying, I will never drive a horseless carriage. It's bad for the horse. So if you have to use a technology and you have to pick between Grok, which, my God, why would you pick Grok? Or Gemini, which honestly, Gemini is it's getting a lot better. ChatGPT or Anthropic, Claude. Pick Claude. Use Claude. Reward Dario Amodei for his decision to stand up against the federal government. Pay for it. If you pay for it with ChatGPT, take away your money from Sam Altman, the jellyfish spine of Sam Altman, and give it to Dario and Claude. Reward them for their decisions. Teach them this. Every company that has learned this lesson is thriving. Costco is thriving. Anthropic is thriving. I use Claude. I'm not afraid to admit it. I use Claude. I've noticed in the mornings when I try to use Claude, it's slow. I'm excited about that because it's slow because people are using it. That's a good sign. But cross-reference, you do something in Claude, go send it over to ChatGPT, the free version that you don't pay for, and have ChatGPT cross-reference it. Fact check the document. Cost Sam Altman 15 cents, 20 cents, $1, $2, whatever it costs him. Make them pay for being an American trader. Make them pay. Don't use ChatGPT to make images or some shit like that, by the way. That's the most pointless part of the AI, generative AI, images and video. But you always want to know, good news, there's good news. You always want to know, what can I do? Well, I gave you a very clear blueprint, what you can do. If you're paying for ChatGPT, cancel your ChatGPT. Reward Dario at Anthropic and bleed ChatGPT of their resources. Cost them money. What are they going to do? Ban you? Okay, good. I got banned from ChatGPT. That's a fucking battle cry right there. I got banned from GPT. That's great. What a victory that would be for you. I don't know. Someone show me the badge. That's why you listen to the show. I know it's been a long show. We've been going on for a while today. We brought you the news. We painted the picture, and then we gave you these actionable steps. Oh my God, Queenie, I need you to do me a favor. Someone over here, Queenie says, glad I found you. We're glad you found us as well. I need you to message Northwest Pole Project. Let's get Queenie a sticker, please. Queenie, we're going to send you a sticker. Boom, look at that. So that's the show, everybody. It is March 9th, 3/9/2026. All around you, finances, the world, gas prices, the economy, it's all collapsing around you. A Japanese oarfish surfaced on the beaches of Cabo San Lucas while the doomsday plane flies overhead. But in the middle of this darkness, as oil literally rains from the sky in Iran, we are finding and building community, effective community, pushing back against fascism, 1 leader at a time, 1,000 leaders in 1,000 different communities. We do this because we believe in each other. I believe this country can actually do amazing things. And I'll close it out with the following. Why do I do what I do? There's many reasons. When I was a young man, my parents got divorced. I went to live with my grandparents for a little while. My grandpa was a milkman. He never finished high school. He never went to college. He was a literal milkman. The first summer that I went with my grandpa, I was 9 years old. This was not that long ago. I went with him early in the mornings, 5 a.m., got up, loaded milk from a cooler into the back of his Dodge Ram truck, which is much better. Dodge Ram trucks were a lot better then, by the way. They didn't look tacky and like plastic Legos. And he had one of these carts in the back. You pulled it out, and, it was kind of cool. Anyways, we would go around at 5 a.m. in the morning. My grandpa would drop off this was actually a thing. You drop off milk on people's doorsteps. My grandpa was a milkman. Anyways, he eventually built himself a really good business. They bought a cafe. He had a very successful cafe in a very small town, literally feeding American farmers in the heart of America. My grandpa was a Democrat. He eventually decided he wanted to serve his community. He became a county commissioner, and he later became a state legislator. And I got to go sit with him in the halls of power in the state of North Dakota and sit down next to him as he helped to make the world a better place. One of his signature pieces of legislation was to pass a law in the early 90s, late 90s, I'm sorry, to pass a law in the late 90s authorizing the use and expansion of computers into schools, something that was considered wasteful at the time. They considered it a wasteful thing. He got criticism for wasting money, investing money from the state to buying kids access to computers in schools when computers were not seen as a good thing. They were seen as a wasteful expenditure in education. My grandpa was a smoker. He eventually got lung cancer. He beat his lung cancer. And I remember standing in a bank parking lot across from the cafe, from where the cafe that he built with my grandma, being a milkman. And I remember him having to tell us after he beat cancer that they had found once again that he had lapsed from remission. And eventually that cancer took his life. Throughout that time, he was able to seek treatment and to take out one extra day, one extra day, one extra day, because he received really good health care. Healthcare from serving his community as a state legislator. He had very good healthcare. But for that healthcare, he would have drained the entire savings of his entire life. All of that work, scratching, delivering milk at 5 a.m., coming from nothing. My grandpa grew up on a farm. He was poor. He couldn't be as poor as he was. He built all of that. He built a house, a home. He had 3 children who he provided for. And all of that work, I think, represents what it really means to be an American. He was a Democrat who served his community in the deepest red part of North Dakota, a milkman who gave everything back that that community gave to him. He taught me how to be a man, how to serve my community, how to care about my community, and how to do the impossible. And it's for him that I do this, because he taught me how to do this and why. Not for me, but for us. And so when it looks dark now, when it looks impossible now, I just think if a poor kid who grew up on a farm who was told that he could never have anything, built a house, a home, 2 businesses, became an elected representative not once but twice, and who had the vision to give computers to kids at a time when that was considered crazy, if he could do all that, the least that we can do is put our feet on the street and try to protect everything that he built. Getting emotional talking about it. I'm who I am because I had someone in my life who chose to be a good leader. The least I can ask you to do is to go into your community and to be a good leader as well. That is what we're doing, building 1,000 leaders in 1,000 different communities. And I will note, being successful all the same. That's the show, everybody. It's March 9th. Go out and make the